Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel to the original Red Dead Redemption by Rockstar Games, and it tells the story of the Van der Linde gang in the year of 1899. On the run and down on their luck, the gang of American Western outlaws attempt to rise to their former riches. You play as Arthur Morgan, one of the most trusted and senior members of the Van der Linde gang. Alongside Arthur are a slew of other gang members, ranging from young gunslingers to aging motherly figures. As an open-world gaming experience, Red Dead 2 feels incredibly organic, lived in, and full of beauty. It's drenched in realism, abundant beautiful vistas, and plenty of gunslinging action. It's a huge achievement in storytelling, and is full of the signature Rockstar charm we know from games like Grand Theft Auto. Red Dead Redemption 2 has been hyped as absolute gaming perfection. Now let's see if it lives up to those nearly insurmountable expectations.
Up with you boys, because I thought you liked action. Couple of days on the lam, you lot have all turned yellow.
The narrative of Red Dead Redemption 2 acts as a prequel to the original game, giving us a look at the latter years of a notorious gang of outlaws at the turn of the century. Led by Dutch Van der Linde, the ragtag group of shady folks feels more like a family than a gang of criminals. You assume the role of Arthur Morgan, an aged criminal with a humble but powerful attitude. As Arthur, it's up to you to explore the ever-growing civilization of the American Midwest, helping your gang when need be. There are tons of characters to meet, side stories to explore, and the overarching narrative does a great job bringing everything together. However, in almost every aspect, Red Dead Redemption 2 takes a while to get going. This is especially true for the story, which takes dozens of hours to pick up steam. Meeting different characters and spending time with them is interesting, but there is rarely a driving narrative force to keep you motivated. Occasionally, a mission might spark up some action or intrigue, but the first half of the game is surprisingly slow. Some missions can feel like filler, and your moral choices have minimal impact.
But if they find out, they'll kill him and send me to live someplace awful like Ohio. Have you ever been to Ohio, sir?
No.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is all about Arthur's character and his battle with his own morality, and it's a story that the player doesn't really have too much control over. Fortunately, this story is one of the finest pieces of Rockstar storytelling to date. While the main narrative falters from time to time, you will always feel invested in Arthur Morgan and his life. By the end of my playthrough, I felt more connected to Arthur than most other video game protagonists. His tale is one of triumph, tragedy, and unfortunate circumstance. It's often brutally true to life, uncompromising, and poignant. Arthur is ultimately the backbone of Red Dead's narrative experience, and you'll surely find him as interesting as I did. When it comes to raw gameplay, Red Dead 2 feels similar to other Rockstar games. Playing as Arthur, you explore the open world, completing missions for various characters. You'll participate in a wide variety of experiences, including robbing trains, getting drunk at the saloon with your friends, and gunning down other outlaws. The quality of these missions are hit and miss, but there are well over 100 to experience. Even with that number of different adventures, there is rarely a repeated scenario or idea. Sure, you'll rob more than one stagecoach, but the context is usually vastly different. There is an incredible amount of nuance to the gameplay, with an almost unnecessary amount of realism. Everything gets dirty and needs to be cleaned, including you, your guns, and your horse. You have to keep a close eye on your statistics and keep them balanced by eating meals regularly, smoking cigars, and so on. You can hunt and fish a huge amount of wildlife, utilizing a hunter vision tracking system, a variety of baits and lures, and much, much more. Also, you can harvest your kills and catches for ingredients, which you use in a simplistic crafting system. There are tons of mechanics at play, and they range from intuitive to downright bothersome. It's impressive to see this level of realism taken into consideration, but at the end of the day, it doesn't always make for the most entertaining video game. Although the beginning of the game can often be downright boring, the tutorialization eventually eases up and the world opens up to you. Once you finally become comfortable with all the gameplay and settle into a rhythm, the game can be wildly entertaining. It's also incredibly relaxing when you allow yourself to take a break and simply explore the world. Red Dead Redemption 2 forces you to play at a very slow pace, and that's not going to be for everybody. However, it's a rewarding experience and full of excellent content, but it asks a lot out of the player up front. Simply put, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a gorgeous game. It's more varied than the original, with things like snowy mountains and dank and dirty swamps. While open fields and farmlands are aplenty, there's enough variety in the random encounters and areas of interest to keep things lively. The game also has a very strong cinematic feel, with numerous photo-worthy moments every minute. The lighting effects are fantastic, as are the fog and weather patterns. Plainly put, Red Dead Redemption 2 is possibly the most visually impressive game ever made, when you consider the insane amount of detail. The fantastic visuals are made even better by a beautiful and dynamic score. In both fistfights and tear-jerking moments, the music turns great scenes into memorable ones. Overall, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a flawed masterpiece. It accomplishes things in storytelling that few, if any other open-world games have ever achieved. In terms of character building, presenting an organic and realistic world, and meticulous attention to detail, Red Dead Redemption 2 is profoundly impressive. Unfortunately, much like the wide-open countryside you often peruse, the game can feel a bit empty from time to time. Despite its abundance of gamification through various mechanics and systems, the game manages to feel realistic and organic. The pacing of the narrative can be extremely long-winded, and many hours of arguable tedium should be expected. However, after spending well over 100 hours inside the world of Red Dead Redemption 2, I've come away with a better representation for the amount of passion and work that goes into an experience like this. You may be struggling with the controls, become overwhelmed, or even find things positively boring. But that said, the bigger picture makes these speed bumps forgivable. Flaws and all, Red Dead Redemption 2 is easily one of the best games of this generation. We give the game a 9.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching our video review of Red Dead Redemption 2. If you like what you saw, be sure to check a90skid.com for the full text review, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you can see our daily streams and various other gaming content.